I'm Tim Nunney, Applications Development and Marketing Manager at Thermo Fisher Scientific, and I want to tell you about the Nexsa G2 Surface Analysis System, our next generation surface analysis spectrometer. But first, let's talk about why we need surface analysis. The surface of a material is the part that interacts with its environment. It governs how things stick together, takes part in chemical reactions, and interacts with light to define a material's appearance. So analysing the surface can be essential to understanding a material and why it may or may not perform as expected. X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, XPS, is one of the main techniques used to understand surface chemistry, and XPS is the principal technique the Nexsa series was built to employ. XPS can be used to investigate an ever-expanding range of materials. Over the years, I've analysed all sorts of things, from catalysts to touchscreens, from batteries to food packaging, even small sections of artworks to understand why their appearance is altering. But XPS isn't the only way to look at surfaces. This is why we built the system to be multi-technique, so that XPS can be seamlessly complemented with analysis methods like ISS, REALS, and UPS. It can also be configured with additional devices, like a Raman spectrometer. The Nexsa G2 system builds off this innovation, improving XPS performance and increasing its multi-technique capabilities. Let's take a closer look at what we can learn using the system, walk through a typical sample workflow, and discuss some of the new features along the way. After you've started data collection using XPS, we can learn which elements are present at the surface. We can understand what their chemical state is, and we can determine their concentration. This standard XPS analysis could be extended to include things like XPS imaging, using the small spot capability of the system, or depth profiling, using an ion beam to remove material and progress from the surface into the bulk. At this point, it could be the end of the journey for our sample, or it could serve as a jumping off point to use one of the additional analytical processes that the system can be equipped with. Coincident Raman spectroscopy is one, which adds molecular and structural information to our dataset. As an example, when graphene is produced by chemical vapor deposition, there can be residue left over on the material's surface. By using XPS, UPS, and Raman together, the cleanliness of the surface can be tested, and the chemistry and structure of the film can be monitored to ensure that the cleaning process doesn't damage it. All of this happens in situ, without moving the sample. In some cases, it may be necessary to affect the sample while it is in the system. The Nexsa G2 system features an optional biasing sample holder to apply up to 4 voltages to a sample. This capability can be particularly useful for battery electrode analysis, where changes may occur as it is charged and discharged. There's also the option for the NX heater with full software control. This allows heating the sample up to 800 degrees Celsius, perfect for monitoring chemistry and structure as they change with temperature. To complement these new functionalities, we also have a new edition of our Thermo Scientific Avantage software. This upgrade updates the user interface, improves data handling, and includes the experiment control for the new heating and sample bias capabilities. One new feature that I really like is the ability to export data to maps, enabling the correlation of XPS data with imaging from electron microscopes, creating a virtual lab book based around your sample. Enhancements to performance make XPS acquisition notably faster. The Nexsa G2 system can provide quick, comprehensive datasets in many analysis scenarios. There's plenty more to learn about the system. You can check out our datasheet to get detailed information about the Nexsa G2, our white paper to learn about the analysis techniques available on the system, or contact one of our sales representatives to discuss your requirements. Thanks for joining me today to learn about the Nexsa G2 Surface Analysis System.